this game have got that obsessiveness and that mental toughness to get through anything. But what we try to do is try and alleviate the carnage that's left behind, because, you know, I can be guilty of that. That's, you know, how obsessed you are with your end goals and what you leave behind. Like, we've got 4 teenage kids, and my wife and I, you know, to get to the success that we got to, that was really tough, Norm. It was really tough to build this business and to do the things that we needed to do and have balance in our life. And having balance, but then making it in this game is 2 different things. I call it the transition, and I mentioned it earlier, the transition between your 9 to 5 and what you signed up for was to leave that behind and work as an entrepreneur, an Amazon seller, full time is really tough, the transition. And we try and get people to go from their 9 to 5 to finally breaking the habit of a year or 2 in as smooth as possible, because that's a really tough period in people's lives. And it was a tough period for me as well. And now we're involved in multiple businesses, not just our Amazon business, and also the end game and teaching. And, you know, I'm involved with some software stuff that, you know, a lot of people will find out about soon. But I've been through the transition from being, you know, on the road 14 hours a day in my semi-trailer, my truck, and being a truck driver, to now being a full-time entrepreneur, living this, you know, in this online world. And that transition is really tough, And it was tough for me. And I just try and help as many people not leave much carnage behind in that transition phase, if you know what I mean.
Right. I think Victor sums it up right here. What a long, strange trip it's been.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
one of the things, Jamie, that that bother me a lot, especially with when you're trying to become an entrepreneur online, is the some people get into it the wrong reasons. They think it's just quick cash. Oh yeah, I see this guy leaning up against a Lamborghini. He's flashing wads of cash, and he's selling a lifestyle. Well, the first thing I think people might want to think about is, how are you going to handle the failure? Because usually if you get into it, there's lots of people that, you know, first time they get into it and all of a sudden they feel successful. But if you're in it long enough, you've got to fail, and you've got to be prepared to fail. I've been in businesses where I failed miserably, like I put too much into the business, waited too long before I cut it loose. And then you go into a state of depression, and then you got to try to build yourself up to get into the next one. And I think that's another thing. Entrepreneurs, if you're not willing to take risk, if you're not willing to take a solid kick between the legs and get up, you have to be